welcome back to another session of Just Me podcast. And today we are joined by an amazing, amazing person called Louise. So tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm a 35-year-old woman. I come from Brazil and I'm a tattoo artist here in Bristol.
And how did you get to doing that? Because there's a great story here, isn't there?
It's very kind of you to say so. I applied to be a tattoo artist for the studio that I work at right now called No Regrets, and they saw my portfolio and they invited me to come over here to be their resident artist.
Wow. So where did life begin for you? Because it's not, you didn't just suddenly wake up at the age of 2 and go, right, that's it, I'm going to be a tattoo artist. Because there's a whole journey here, isn't there?
Yeah, I never thought I'd end up being a tattoo artist, to be honest. I used to do illustrations ever since I was 12, 13. Been developing my skills like ever since an early age. Even before that, even when I was like 7, I think, I was already drawing. But I took it really seriously when I was like 13, 14 years old. Um, there was a major change in my life when I had to decide which career I should pursue. When I was 18, 19, my dad wanted me to do law, to study law,
Wow.
but I couldn't choose it. Like we had a big fight and I really wanted to do graphic design, but I didn't have the courage to tell him that I wanted to do graphic design. So I ended up choosing architecture instead. This is what I went for. I dedicated myself to studying architecture and urban planning for 5 years until I graduated. Started working in an architecture firm, and then, but I never stopped drawing. So I had loads of people, like my friends, my family, my cousins. They all wanted me to do designs for them to get tattoos. So I would do the designs for them, and then they would go and tattoo someone else. Until one day, I literally woke up and I was like, okay, so I'm doing the designs. Why can't I learn how to tattoo and then tattoo my own designs on people?
No way.
Yeah. So this is what I did. I bought my first machines. I was practicing at home on fake skin. I didn't practice on real people. I
Right.
was changing offices. I worked for an architecture firm and then I was changing it for another one. And I had this gap of like 1 week. I contacted a tattoo shop, asked them if they were taking apprentices in, and they said they asked me to bring my portfolio with them, like my drawing portfolio. And then they took me in. I started learning from professional tattoo artists. And in the meantime, I was also working at my new architecture job.
Wow.
So yeah, there was a period in my time I was working like 16 hours a day. I would go to the office from 9 to 6:30 and then I would go straight away to the tattoo shop. I'd stay there until like midnight, something like that.
No way.
Yeah, I would go home, draw my own designs until like 2 in the morning, and then the next day I would do the same over again, all over again.
That's
And
amazing.
on yeah, and then on Saturdays I would spend the whole day on the studio. So yeah, and then eventually I quit, of course, because it was too heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is where I got to today. It's been 8 years now.
But going back to like when you were 12 and you started to really, enjoy kind of drawing, what were the types of things that were interest you? In other words, did you have a notebook or a journal? What did you draw? What was the influence?
Oh, just basically Japanese anime, like
Wow.
animation. I loved it. I watched everything like Cardcaptor Sakura, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball. So many of them. And I started trying to copy the characters, and then eventually started creating my own. I tried doing my own stories as well, my own HQs, but I'm so glad that didn't work out. I was terrible at that. And then eventually, I started getting into Japanese folklore and Japanese history. So I started learning about the samurais, the shoguns, the geishas, the kimono history, and everything else. And then, of course, like the folklore as well. So the yokais, which are these magical creatures. Um, and then I was hooked.
Wow. And then with architecture, I mean, I mean, obviously you chose that, I suppose as a compromise between kind of graphic design and law. But what, but did you not have the feeling that you wanted to continue with that? Was that something that you just did because it was a job?
I'm not gonna lie to you. There's still some parts of me that really want to go back to it. Like I really, really loved my job. I was doing interior architecture, which um, was something that I really liked. Was really creative. So it was really hard for me to decide between architecture and becoming a tattoo artist. Plus all of the cons, like the social, like the financial instability, because
Yeah.
being in a job, I get paid every month, but being a tattoo artist, I only get paid when I do work. I didn't know if I would have that many clients. Everything was very insecure for me back then. Um, but yeah, there is still some part of I still, to be honest, I still research sometimes, like some interior designs. I love decorating. I love creating new spaces, coming up with floor plans and everything like that. But I don't know. At the end, I'm just really, really glad that I chose tattooing.
So lovely. And what have you learnt along the way?
Oh my God, I think I'm still learning. Like every day I'm still learning. I had to learn how to trust the process, be very, very patient,
Brilliant.
very patient. Not give up when when I'm despairing.
Mm.
And that happens so often. I learned so many stuff, like how to trust people, like bond with people. I had to learn how to connect with people and their stories. Um, trust trust myself, trust my parents. It's still an ongoing process.
And how do you find living in Bristol? Because that's a long way from where you were born.
Yeah, well, I love the UK, always loved it. Bristol is very similar weather like to my hometown.
Okay.
It's always rainy, it's always cloudy, it's cold. I feel just like at home here.
Brilliant.
But the first time that I got here, it was night. I just arrived from the airport, and you could see me smiling in the back of the taxi. I was just like, "Oh
Wow.
my God, I'm so glad to be here." I don't know. I just felt right at home from the moment I stepped here.
So lovely. And did you know anyone? I mean, literally, you got out the airport. Did you know anyone? I mean, was there anyone to meet you or?
No, it was just me and my bags.
Wow. No way.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone. I just knew that I had this job. I had a place to stay, like I rented an Airbnb. But that was it. I met everyone the next day and then had to start all over again. Yeah, I had my own studio in Curitiba and I let that go too.
Wow. And who has helped you along the way? Because that's a big decision to take, is to literally jump on a plane, go to a country where obviously you knew the UK, but go to a town, city that you didn't know, and then just go, right, this is me.
Yeah, I always had the support from my parents. Like they
Okay.
always cheered me on. This is not the first time I've done it before. Like I went to the US as well to sell fish in a supermarket during summer vacations. I
Brilliant.
also, after I graduated, I spent a year in Germany um, to learn German and to babysit. I was an au pair.
Wow.
I didn't know a word of German back then, so coming to Bristol and knowing English made my life
Yeah.
so much easier. Um, but yeah, my parents were always there for me. But I don't know, I can't stay still. I'm always moving, I'm always traveling. So I don't know, I just like going on adventures.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So what do you think is have you had any obstacles in the way? I mean, you sound like you just kind of do stuff and you just go for it. But has there ever been sort of obstacles? I mean, your dad saying to you, look, I'd like you to do law and you kind of falling out about that. Have there been any other obstacles that have hindered you or helped you?
I don't know. Like I don't really see them obstacles. I'm a very practical person, so if I see something that might be in the way, I'm already planning for it. So I don't know. I don't really see obstacles as obstacles. I just set my mind on something, and then I think which is the best way to get there. So I just kind of do it.
That's really cool. And where does that come from, though? Did you have that, growing up? Did you have that as a child, or is that something you've learned?
I think I've had that ever since I was a child. Like my parents were always moving around. I
Okay,
never stayed in a place for more than 4 years before I was 11.
right.
I moved quite a lot, so I had to start fresh every time we moved. I
Okay.
had to say goodbye to my friends. I had to meet new people. I had to get used to new environments. So I think I've been trained by my parents ever since I was little. So it's not really a big deal. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Do you ever get? Do you ever get scared? Do you ever kind of go, "Oh, I'm not sure," or
I did once when I first arrived in Germany. I didn't speak the language, I didn't know anyone.
"Oh,
It was really tough. And I cried so much on the first few
oh,
days. And then I just told myself, like, okay, I'm going to cry for the first 2 days, all I
oh,
can. And then on the third day, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to face it. I'm going to make the best out of my time here. And this is what I did. So I cried a lot for the first few days, regretted my decision. And then I ended up having an amazing time in Germany.
wow!" And did you get to learn German?
Yes, a little bit, but I forgot most of it, so please don't embarrass me.
I know virtually none. That's amazing. That's really cool. So you literally said, "Right, I'm going to cry for a couple of days, and then on the third day, that's it. We're just going to get on with this."
Yes, that's
That's
what I did.
that's so cool. And if you could go back to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself?
I think I'd say the classic, like, don't give up on your dreams. You're gonna get there. I was so sure I was gonna be building robots.
Really?
Yeah, when I was like 10.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, just like, trust the process. You're going to meet so many people along the way. They're going to teach you so many good stuff and stuff that's going to change your life. Uh, I don't know. Like, yeah, just you're going to get where you want to be. Just don't lose focus and keep practicing and keep investing on your passions. I think I would say that to her.
Oh, that's so lovely. It's beautiful. And in terms of yourself as a tattooist now, what do you feel when you're doing it? Because I think it's an amazing art form. It's just incredible what people like your great self, create. But what does it why is it such a good thing for you and for others?
I just had this conversation with my client yesterday, coincidentally. He's a very shy person and he's doing like this full sleeve.
Wow.
It was his first tattoo. So he came over to me and he said, I want to do this full sleeve as my first tattoo. I was like, okay, that's very bold of you. And of course, like we spent many, 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 many hours together. Um, and yesterday, I asked him how he felt about his tattoo, and he said, "You have no idea how that boosted my self-esteem. I feel like a different person now. Like
Wow.
I actually go out there and talk to people, something that I never did before. And then I have people coming over to me, um, saying how cool my arm is, and I even have like some old friends that never thought I could do it because I was always much more of an introvert. And it's like I was looking at myself in the mirror yesterday after the shower, and then I looked at my tattoo, and I was like, "Oh my God, I actually like who I am. I actually love who I am."
Oh,
So I think tattoo has the power to transform people. I can only say for myself as well. Like I have many, and they make me who I am. Um, it's a different feeling when you. I see myself when I was younger, and I didn't have any tattoo
mm,
and I don't recognize that person anymore. And nowadays I look at myself and I'm like, okay, I am slowly becoming the person like showing the inside of me to the outside.
Wow.
So yeah, I think like tattoo has the power to transform people.
Wow.
Um,
And what kind of tattoos, am I allowed to ask, do you have? Do you have your own creations, or do you?
no, I'm more of a collector since I'm a part of the business. I know many tattoo artists and I've made so many tattoo artist friends. So we kind of swap tattoos.
Wow.
I have so many from them and then I've tattooed so many of them as well. I usually ask for something that's related to me but on their style, so they design it for me.
Brilliant. What other people have you met? Because I mean, in the article that I read in the BBC, which is just really lovely, it was how that it can transform people and give them that confidence, especially when they've had, I don't know, hair loss or something. What other sort of examples can you give?
Um, well, for once, I've had so many clients that have lost people they loved.
Hmm.
So doing a tattooing on like honoring those people, it's kind of
Wow.
like they're carrying them around with them all the time. It's also a process of making peace with the loss.
Wow.
So that's one aspect of it. The other one is scars, like the BBC interview.
Yeah.
Um, People have been through a lot, like traumas, family traumas, and everything. So sometimes they do self harm scars, and sometimes they just had a really bad accident that they don't want to remember, but they still have the scar there.
Hmm.
So it's turning something like a bad memory into something beautiful. People sometimes they're really embarrassed of showing their past, like
Hmm.
especially if self harm scars. They're not that person anymore. They went over it. Like that phase is gone. So they don't want the world to see their struggles from the past. And this is where we I work with them. Like I cover up the scars with something that's more to their personality right now, something that tells who they are instead of who they were. And what else? I've had, yeah, trauma, memories like for like moms and sons and
Mm.
daughters or
Mm.
the whole family. They come in and they do like these tattoos that connect them.
Wow.
They all have the same tattoos, but with different little details that's characteristically to belonging to each one of them. And I've had best friends as well doing matching tattoos. Um, the birth of a daughter or a son, then they do little homages to their little ones as well. Can have so many meanings.
It's amazing. I mean, I was in a prison yesterday doing some work, and one of the guys had, a lot of tattoos, and there was a big one on his arm. And I said to him, what's the meaning and significance of this? And he said, well, actually, he said the ink has got part of my mum's ashes in there. And he said, see these little flecks and things. I said, yeah. He said, that's part of her ashes, and that was like, I was blown away. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, he said, I carry her, everywhere I go, and I miss her. She's been dead for 3 years. And after reading your article, I mean, obviously I love, the art form that it creates, but I didn't realize that it had such a deep therapeutic kind of meaning and happening, really.
Yeah, it does. And talking to people about their stories also very fascinating. There are so many people with so many different stories that they're willing to share
Mm.
because it's also like as a part of their tattoo, they are like they share their stories with me so I can create something that's more unique to them. And their stories are so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really heartwarming.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's so funny because you kind of when I was younger, I used to look at tattoos and kind of go, well, it's just it's just a picture, but now you realise there's just huge significance. What advice would you give to others?
That's a very tough one. I think it's a very big responsibility to give advices. Um, If they're struggling, I would say therapy always works for me.
Good.
um, Talking to your beloved ones, people who really support you, um, getting to know yourself a little bit more. Don't being so hard on yourself.
Oh, that's lovely.
Um, Things are gonna work out eventually, one way or the other. So we don't have control over all the stuff that's going on,
Mm.
but we do have control over little pieces that makes us feel happy and good. So I think this is a good point to start.
That's lovely. I mean, I love your thing when you went to Germany and you spent 2 days deciding you were going to kind of get all the tears out, and then you're going to kind of go, "Come on, girl, this is us." I just love that because I can really see myself doing that in that kind of situation. It's beautiful. It's really nice. What legacy? I know that you're wonderfully young, but what legacy would you like to leave behind for others? You know,
Oh my God, this is so hard because this goes into so many deeper levels. Because I don't feel like I'm still on my own learning path and my own
gosh,
learning journey. So it's really hard for me to just say what kind of legacy, because that would mean that I could be inspiring in some way, but I'm still learning. I'm still struggling with my own things, with my own life, with my own views of life. So it's really hard to just say what kind of legacies. I don't know. Right now, I don't feel like I have a legacy to leave. I'm still living off other people's legacies.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Well, I think, well, for me, it inspired me. I mean, wow. When I read that article, I was just like, oh, so cool. And then I said to Paula, who I work with, I said, oh, I wonder if we could ask her to, come on the podcast. And the thing that I love about you is that you just keep going. It's like you say to yourself, it's okay, we can work this out. And as you said earlier, when I mentioned the word obstacles, you said, well, I don't see those. They're just, I just get on and do it. I just love that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how else to live life. It's obstacles are always going to be there,
Yeah.
but I feel like most of the times we make our own obstacles. Something that can be gigantic for you might not be that big in real life, you know? So if you just take a step back and look at the bigger picture, you might you might find that that obstacle doesn't really exist, or it can be surpassed. If you, I don't know.
No, you're right. Well, I think that's so lovely. And what do you feel is the magic that you bring to others? And I know you said, I mean, you're incredibly modest. It's lovely, but what's the magic that you bring to others? Because it's like when you have a new client like that gentleman who, wanted the full sleeve. There's a lot of sharing there, isn't there? There's some really intimate stuff that people will reveal to you. So, what do you think the magic is that you bring?
I think people, when they're having like those moments with you and they're sharing their story, they want someone to listen. And I'm very, very curious about people, and I'm very curious about their stories, and I love talking, as you can probably notice by now. So I don't know. I think the magic it's not something that I bring. I think it's something that happens between two people.
Wow,
That's when the magic happens. So sharing their story with me, and I'm also sharing my story with them, and um, it lightens the mood. And then you can see that people, they feel refreshed about sharing it with someone that's really interested, and something that's not going to judge them. Um, so I think that there's magic in that, like the sharing between people, like the connection between people. I think that's the most magical part. Also, it's also like an exchange. Like I'm tattooing them with something that's mine,
mm,
that they're gonna carry for the rest of their lives, but it's also theirs. So it's like it's a mutual bond. They're gonna take some piece of me wherever they're going, and I'm gonna keep a piece of them for the rest of my life too.
I
So
love that.
yeah, I think that's very magical, and
Yeah.
it's also a very big responsibility.
Sure. And do you ever, I obviously I don't know the technical kind of aspects about kind of tattooing, but is it hard to do?
It's not easy. Some people think that it's just about like putting the stencil down and then just going over it with a needle,
Mm.
just going over the lines. But there's so many different aspects. Like there's so many little details that you basically just learn by doing. It's not a paper. It's not a static canvas. So it's moving. It's breathing. It's bleeding.
Mm.
It's twitching. There's pain involved, there's sweat involved, there's a lot of things involved, there's a lot of emotions involved as well.
Wow.
And that's just like the emotional part of it. Like the technical part, there's so many different kinds of needles, there's so many different kinds of inks, there's so many different kinds of machines that do different stuff, and so many different techniques. And it's not a process that you see. If you get something wrong on shading, for example, you won't know until it's healed. So
Wow.
you have to wait for the skin to heal so you can see how your technique is going. So it's like it's a very long process. It's time consuming, and I'll tell you, it's very soul consuming too. But eventually, we'll get there.
And do you and when you're doing it, what do you think of? I mean, obviously you're thinking technically, but I mean, do you drift away? Do you I mean, are you talking to the person or
It depends. I have some clients that like to talk, so I talk to them during the process. If I have to focus doing a straight line, for example, I tell them, it's like, okay, I'm going to be quiet now because I have to focus, and then I'm going to do the straight line.
yeah.
Each person has their own way of dealing with pain. So sometimes they just put headphones, or they're reading a book, or they're watching something, and then I'm left on my own, which I also do kind of like. I like drifting away as well. Like I'm listening to podcasts, or I'm listening to music, or I'm thinking about my own stuff, or I'm listening to an audiobook, um, or I'm talking to my friends over at the studio as well. There are some parts that I need to focus a little bit more,
Yeah.
but there are some parts that I just do in automatic mode because I've been doing it every day for the past 8 years. So my body already moves automatically.
Wow, that's so cool. And what's your kind of where do you find that real kind of what we call fizzy pop, that joy moment? What's the bit that you really love?
About life or about my career?
Let's do both.
Okay. The fizzy pop moment, I think, is by the time I'm finished with the tattoo, and then I can see the big smile on my client's face.
Oh,
I love it. I absolutely love it. The moment they look in the mirror and they're like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful," and they thank me and they want to hug me, and
oh,
this is like so heartwarming. Um, and I think the fizzy pop moment for me and my personal life is every moment that I'm doing something that I enjoy, it be that listening to music or reading my books or painting, doing watercolor, or playing my video games, or talking to my friends, or spending time with my boyfriend. I think those are my fizzy pop moments.
that's so lovely. And what one word would you use to describe yourself?
Persistent. I think this is a very good word.
That's brilliant. And in terms of future plans for you, what are they? What's the near future hold for you?
I don't know. Well, I'm gonna have to see. I'm not too fussed about future. I'm trying to live more in the present right now. There's still a lot going on, so I don't know. I try to enjoy my days as they are instead of focusing too much in the future. The
Wow,
future will come anyway, so.
that's so nice. Louise, honestly, wow. It's just so funny. I remember, honestly, I remember the article, reading it, and I just went, I'd love to meet this person, and I have. I mean, thank you so much for sharing
Thank you so much
so
for
much.
inviting me. I feel really honored of being here.
Not at all. It's our honor, it really is. It's just and thank you. I mean, and it's so funny. I don't have a tattoo, but I love them. I think they are amazing, and I didn't realize the storytelling that it can
Yeah.
do from a personal point of view. Like for you, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a very, very personal choice. I don't know, just if you want to show the world a little bit of who you are inside, I think tattoos are a good way to do that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Thank you
Yeah.
very much indeed. Lovely, lovely, lovely to meet you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very honored to be here again. Thank you so, so much for inviting me. This has been great.
Oh, you're welcome. You take care. Thank you.
You too. Bye.